Me with assistance from the Community Broadcasting Foundation and heard from across Australia to around the world online.
You're listening to Z Games, where we bring you the best in gaming news, reviews, community, and culture.
Want to get in touch? Find us on social media or email us on air at zgamesau.net. G'day cheekies, you're hanging out on Z Games. This show is going to be a little bit more intimate than usual. It's going to be a one-on-one experience for the entire time, but it's going to be a one-on-one with different ones. That's
Different
sure.
ones.
I said to Millie as we walk...
Dad's very tired.
I'm just sort of riding this wave of too much sugar and not enough real food in my body, so it's a journey. My name is Jack and this is Millie. Hello.
G'day, chickies. How you doing?
Later on I'll be talking about Feather, and then Kosh will be talking about Hollow Knight. But first, Millie, you have a history of getting addicted very quickly to mobile games, and I'm not sorry that I keep introducing you to all of them.
Yeah, I've got a severe addictive personality, I'm pretty sure.
Some more than others. How addicted have you gotten to Lifty?
I would say I played it for a solid 2 hours.
So, on a scale of like 1 to 10, that's like a good 9.5 for me.
Yeah.
Is that high on your addiction spectrum? Oh, okay, cool.
Well, technically, most of those, I'm collaborating hours over days.
Oh, okay, right.
So, most of that
I
time...
think you meant 2 hours in one chunk, and I was like, geez.
Most of that time was spent on the toilet, though, so...
That's mobile games, dude,
Yeah,
right?
it was great. But, Lifty, exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
So I'm guessing it's, yelled at you, but anyway.
Lifty!
Major Frank developed
Is the
it.
developer, yeah.
Yeah, they're a little indie game studio in Sydney, Australia,
Yes.
which is where we are, but not in Sydney
Not
because
in
Sydney's not because we don't want to live in a hole. So they were founded last year, so this is actually a pretty cool achievement that the game's looking that polished and they were only founded last year. Lifty was their first release on iOS and Android, where you race against a timer to deliver colour-coded passengers to their respective floors. So
Yes.
yeah, so there's little blue dudes and little green dudes, little orange dudes. Are you playing it?
I am playing it right
Yeah.
now. It starts off feeling quite basic, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's 2 game modes at the moment, challenges and tower. Then they're going to have another one, which is locked at the moment.
Right.
So I think it's still, progressing because this is their first release ever.
That's fair.
Yeah, so it's fine. And you reach, new levels. So I reached level... I think I'm up to level 102.
How?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot.
It's a lot. You can smash it pretty quick. It's very addictive. So you control the lift with 2 buttons, up and down,
Yes.
like a lift. So it's usually on the right side, but you can actually switch the controls to
For,
the left
lefties,
side. So
yeah.
if you're a lefty.
Good.
Yeah, and you need to pick up the little dudes. I just call them little dudes because they don't really have a gender. And
Lifties
lifties,
is
I
what they're
guess?
called.
I guess. Before they explode.
Oh, they have a timeout on the...
Yeah, they have a timeout above their head, so if you don't pick them up in time because they're impatient, apparently, they just explode. And surprisingly, it's kind of gross.
I
I wasn't expecting it.
They look very similar to, lemmings, or they feel like they should be kind of lemmings, but
Yeah.
they just get really aggressive, I guess, because they explode.
Yeah,
What?
they're slightly terrifying because, they look really cute and all and blocky, and you're like, no, but then all of a sudden, their timer runs out, they flash, and it's and but because you've got hearts, like 3 hearts, you just see a heart just fly out of them. I'm like, what?
Oh, it's like some Kingdom Hearts stuff, I feel.
And it's they go pew when they explode. It's like, oh no, I don't want this. Anyway, so it's little too gory for my tastes. Not excessive, Mortal Kombat
yeah,
gore, but
it's
it's
not
surprising. Oh,
It's just kind of unexpected because it's super cartoony, and then you're like, wait, that's too much detail for cartoony.
Yeah. I thought they just sort of poof. But instead it's gristle. Some of the characters you pick up take up more space. So each elevator you have has a maximum amount of space, like most elevators. But these little smaller elevators. So when you first start off, you're picking up blue and green guys, and they take up 1 spot in the elevator.
Right.
As you progress, you can pick up a chunky guy who takes up 2 spots because he's fat.
Rude.
Yeah. And he eats cookies. It's weird. And then there's a car who takes up 3 spaces. I'm like, why is this guy driving a car indoors?
A car?
But okay. And the most annoying ones that I've encountered so far, which is the little school kids called schoolies. And I'm like, they're the most annoying as they won't ride with any other riders. They only ride with other schoolies. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's really painful because of the timer. So
You've got to get them off to be able to pick someone else up.
yeah, because they clog up the line. So here's where I sort of have a couple of gripes with it. I would say it's very addictive and I enjoy it. But as I've reached a higher level, I would say it feels very freemium.
Yeah.
Very freemium. The difficulty curve ramps up very quickly.
So what does it sort of give you that makes it easier as part of like the pay for the like what can you pay for to make it easier, I guess?
Technically, I sort of use freemium as these days with games sort of relating to a Candy Crush-esque sort of thing, where the difficulty curve suddenly goes like, you can't go any further unless you watch an ad, or you can't go any further unless you use your coins, sort of thing. And I've noticed with Lifty, they don't actually give you too many coins.
Right.
So once I've reached the higher levels, and I only have about like 120 coins or something, and each retry is like, I think it's 25.
Jeez, that seems really steep.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. So at that point, and the difficulty curve, especially with these schooly kids,
it just ramps up super
I haven't
quick.
Unlocked like 4 other characters, so
there's more. Yeah,
there's more. So I'm already sort of struggling with time, and that's the thing where I call it sort of a Candy Crush-esque, because at a certain point, it's sort of almost impossible. Like, you unlock the elevators as you go.
Right.
But because there's so few coins, as I've found, you can't upgrade your elevator because it's like 50 coins, I'm pretty sure, to upgrade. No, 300, I think. 300 coins.
There's a bit of a difference there.
Hang on,
Jesus.
let me boot up
Boot him up.
Lifty. It's got really good loading times, though, so I wouldn't...
It did boot up
complain.
surprisingly quickly, yeah.
Yeah. 400, there you go.
Jeez.
So 400 coins, and I'm at level 109, and I've only got 184 coins. So, and I have invested quite a bit of time into it.
But no money.
No money.
Okay.
No. So if you want to buy other lifts, they cost, I think, in the App Store it says 99 cents, but in the game it says $1.47.
Yeah, so I'd noticed that. I feel like maybe it's like regional pricing. So maybe it's
Possibly.
like 99 in the US, but then like $1.50 here.
Yeah. Another little gripe I have with it is when you complete a level, it sort of gives you like the congratulatory screen and it moves you up a floor.
Yeah.
But the continue button has like a fast forward logo on it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And I pressed it, and every second time it plays you like a 30-second ad.
Right. So the ads pop up very often.
Yeah, but it's not like an ad that's just like a game. Like, you know, it's like, oh, okay, exit out. They're 20-second playing ads that blast noise, and this is like... I know sometimes they can't control that, and I totally understand where you're coming from, but 30-second ads, like, it ruins your flow, because it's a game where you have to, like, tap, and, like, you're trying to, like, progress, and then you reach the level, you're like, yeah, I did it, and then it goes forward, and it's like, ad.
20 seconds.
Yeah, but as soon as you press play, like, to play that ad, and then you exit out of it, it's like, you're in game now, so you don't get...
Suddenly, yeah,
You don't get
whiplash.
time, and then all of a sudden, like, someone's exploded at the top there, so... like...
It seems a little bit unfair.
It sounds unfair, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as someone who has put a lot of time into mobile games, it can be done better.
Yeah.
And I understand it's an indie studio, and it's actually a really polished game, and I really enjoy the concept.
It did feel it, yeah.
It's really feels good. Feels very good to play. It's addictive, definitely, and I would recommend getting it. I just think in future, I think they can adapt to the market.
The ad stuff seems a little bit kind of awkward, unnecessary.
I always gripe about ads.
Yeah. But I mean, there is also, probably should point out, there's an option to have no ads.
Yeah.
So you pay money for the different lifts, so you can have different speeds, different capacities, and so that kind of makes it easy to get through levels. If you want to go no ads, that's $3. So if you're wanting to maybe help sort of cover the costs of game development, because they're massive, and help out the Sydney studio, then cool, $3 and you're done. That said, it seems like they are kind of being stingy. And I mean, truthfully, I would be too if I lived in Sydney. Look,
you're not wrong.
It's not to the point where it's like we wouldn't say don't download it. It's just like, look, go in, expect a polished experience.
Yeah.
But that $3 no ads thing would make a big difference.
Hugely.
And don't go in thinking that you won't need to spend any money. Maybe $1 here or there.
Yeah.
But at least they're not asking like $5 or $6 per elevator, right?
Like they've really, they're cheap and you can win them too through like gameplay, which is really awesome. But I will say that I've noticed that some of the elevators, while they look really cool, their capacity isn't that great.
Right.
And some of them you can't even upgrade, so it's like, why are they even there?
What's the point?
Like, what's the point? They're just there to look cool, and I get that. Everyone loves looking cool, and everyone loves to buy things because they're there in a game. And I get that's what they're appealing for, but again, if your game is about capacity, like, surely you'd have more
A bit
capacity.
more than that, yeah. Because I'm going through them now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it looks like the biggest capacity, weirdly enough, is the hamburger. Looks like you can have a max of 6, but even then, you need to pay for coins to boost the capacity. You need to pay for money to be able to get it, or win it in one of those like free spins.
Yeah,
Because I imagine they'd come by every day
Yeah, the
or so.
free spins. I think if you reach a certain level, like, it's sort of an achievement, you win it.
Well, that helps.
I've started using the balloon one, and I won that like first time, which
Okay.
is great. And I love the balloon one, but it's slow, and you can only upgrade the speed
Once. Yeah.
So, again, like,
You're kind of dealing with what you're
it's-
dealt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm just like picking apart this game because I'm like, boo, I hate indie games. But no,
I just hate ads.
I hate ads, but no, I actually really enjoy it, and I love the concept, and it's something I haven't seen before in the App Store, because a lot of these games these days are either like a Fortnite clone
Yeah.
or a Candy Crush clone. Because I'm currently playing a Candy Crush clone, and I love it. Sorry. But it's something I haven't seen before in the App Store, and it's revolutionary, I reckon. Like, it's just a simple little tap game.
But it's executed well.
It's executed very, very well. And I reckon a lot of other game studios can follow in the stride of, like, having a simple pick-up passenger game that's not Crazy Taxi.
Lifty is available now for iOS and Android. You're hanging out on Zed Games. My name's Jack, and I'm in the 4ZZZ studio still with Millie. Feather is a real video game.
It is. What am I doing?
So, that's the thing. Calling it a video game is a little bit misleading. I feel weird about calling this a video game.
That's the thing. I'm
Feather-
just bourbon around.
Just bourbon around. I literally gave you my Switch and I gave you no instruction, and you're just kind of having a good time.
Yeah, I'm just bourbon.
So that's basically it.
Yeah.
The thing that you don't have
it's
right
cold.
now is audio. So that's kind of a big thing. So Feather is a game where you fly around this island as a burb. If you've ever seen sort of like low poly art on Twitter or
cute.
any sort of video game social media group, it's always gorgeous. I love low poly stuff.
Yeah, it's really cute.
There are
Many
the entire island is low poly. The bird is low poly. This came from an old game called Fruits of a Feather. It came from a project from a developer of Samurai Punk called Nick. So Samurai Punk have previously done a game called Screen Cheat, where you have like a split screen first-person shooter, but everyone's invisible, so you need to
I love
like
that.
look at everyone else's screen to find out where they are.
Yeah, I've played that before. It's so fun.
Fruits of a Feather was what it was called ages ago when it was on itch.io, and it had fruit, so you would fly around the island and basically pick up all these fruit.
I love fruit.
We were speaking about this at, I feel like an event around PAX last year. He was like, it feels not right.
Okay.
He's removed the fruit, so there's no fruit.
Yeah.
The only thing that you can kind of interact with on the island is these like gates that play music. So you've flown through them, but you can't hear the music
I like
right now
that.
because we're in a radio studio.
I'm just flapping around. Through them. It's fun, though.
It's in that sense, it's not really a game. It's more of a toy. So you just kind of have this island, and you're just kind of spending time in it. It's not
land.
It's not super expensive. It's like $10 to $15. So
all right,
it's not a lot to ask for a toy.
It's an experience.
But I need to stress that I'm calling this a toy, but that's not a bad thing. Like, you're playing it, and usually you have objectives to complete in games. You have stuff to do. In this, you're just able to kind of sit back and chill and fly around the island.
Yeah, it's fun.
I do have a few points that I like to raise, though.
Okay.
I want to land.
Yeah,
I
me
just
too. I want to land. I've already tried landing and I crashed.
So if you if you slow down enough on some peaks, you can land.
I
But
could try that.
it's weird where I think left trigger is the one that slows you down.
Yeah.
The thing is, only some like sort of edges you can land on. You can't land on everything. And indeed, as you found out, if you go the tiniest bit too fast into a wall, it'll reverse time, so it'll basically rewind.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's weird.
It doesn't feel good. It would have made a little bit more sense if you automatically kind of slowed down and then just kind of landed. In the absence of objectives to accomplish, you just kind of make your own fun.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. It's weird.
I will say, though, on Switch in particular, it does get pretty framey.
Yeah, it's a little janky.
looks gorgeous, whether you're
That-
playing it on portable or on the TV. I'm not a big frame rate boy, but damn, he gets real framey sometimes. There is a day-night cycle. There are also different kinds of environments. So there are some sort of like more foresty areas. There is the top of the mountain that gets kind of like
Yeah, it's pretty frosty out
frosty. Honestly, it is one of the weirder games that I think I've reviewed on this show. I think don't go into it expecting a game. Go into it expecting a toy.
there. Yeah, it's
Like-
a toy.
Take your time, chill out. Do not expect any sort of like, you need to accomplish these tasks.
Yeah, no.
Anything like that. Just spend some quality time with it.
You're just doing...
Put some headphones on also.
You're a bird doing bird things. I'm going to run into this fruit. Here we go. I'm covered in juice now.
What? Feather is available now on at least Switch and PC. You're hanging out on Zed Games. We'll be back with you in just a sec. Hanging out on Zed Games, I have traded out my Millie for a Koshi.
Hello. I'm no Millie. I am definitely Koshi.
But it's as intimate as it was before because it's just us two in the studio.
That's a little cute little couple.
We're getting cozy.
Yeah, we're getting nice and cozy. We've got a fire in the corner of the room. Someone should probably work on that.
It feels like a fire in the room.
It's so warm.
Why is there so much warmth and humidity in this goddamn... Like,
Someone bring marshmallows, please.
we have an aircon in this studio, but it's not... Sure.
If you can call that an aircon.
We're doing an Australian Games Blitz.
Pretty much.
I haven't mentioned that up until now, but in case you hadn't picked it up already, we're doing an Australian Games Blitz. And Hollow Knight is
Hollow
an
Knight.
Australian game.
Team Cherry.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
They're sweethearts.
They're wonderful people.
Have you spoken with them?
No, I haven't. I want to, though. But that's the thing, is like I never played the game until this year.
No.
I think. It was this year, like end of last year, like very late 2018.
You got in late, yeah.
So I got in really late. I got like a bunch of reviews, different people talking about it, being like, this is awesome, this is a great game. And I went, oh, you know what? This is a great time to play it. I've got stream. I've got all this stuff I can set up. It's new content for me. It's new content for everybody else. So,
Because if people weren't aware, you stream games on Twitch 2 or 3 times a week?
yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
So, hit that. Yeah.
Follow me online,
Guys, follow me, like and subscribe.
It's Koshi, ITZ, Koshi.
Oh, yeah, that wonderful link, the self-promo. But yeah, I hadn't played it before, so I jumped on it and played it. And basically, that was my entire content for like 4 weeks, because I played it for like 30 hours.
It took you that long to finish it?
Well, I looked it up, howlongtobeat.com.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, the main story takes 22 hours. No worries. And it took me 36. So...
I mean, I
That's
imagine
what type of gamer I
you
am.
would have been quite thorough in doing that as well, right?
Yeah, like I think it was like 87% completion or 83% completion.
Damn.
So like getting up there in terms of collecting and doing everything.
Because we haven't clarified, this is a Metroidvania game. So you basically have this F-off big map
Yep.
that you get to explore and use different abilities to access different parts, and you have different enemies, and you don't have to fight all of them, you don't have to explore all of it to finish the game.
No. There are a few key ones that you have to do.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things where you don't have to do it, but it's very, platformer-based, mix of range attacks, melee attacks with your sword and things like that. The thing that really catches off a lot of people is that you've got a very limited amount of health. When you start, I think you've got 3 hearts.
I've got 5, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got 5 hearts, and one hit to each enemy, or getting one hit, is one of your hearts. That's
It's
just gone.
quite a lot, yeah.
There are ways to heal yourself, and there's ways to do spells using that same kind of soul power. So you can mix up your melee attacks with spells, then heal if they're knocked out or dead or things like that as well. But really, it's a mix of different builds. It's a mix of you learning the patterns of the monsters and their different attacks.
Because they don't always, it's not that they have health bars or anything like that, and they don't always take one hit to kill, so you have to make sure, because you've got such limited health, at least at the very beginning, you've got to make sure that you keep your distance, you're a little bit cautious, and you kind of ride out how long this enemy is going to take down.
Yeah, it doesn't, unless you're really speedrunning through the game, it is not it's a fast gameplay-wise, but you don't run through it fast.
No.
Like, you analyze each enemy, you find out, okay, well, this one's coming up more, he's got a big slam attack, I'm going to stand back for that, jump in, do a spell, things like that. It's a very, kind of, I guess, methodical would be the word for it as well.
You should be methodical.
Should be methodical, but you also, need to worry about things that just jump out at you and things like that as well. So it's very fun. It's just, I don't know how to describe it more than it is so much fun.
We also probably should mention that it feels so good to play. Like,
it's so clean.
The movement and the jumping mechanics are solid, but the combat mechanics just feel so tight.
Yeah.
Like, when you hit an enemy, it bounces just the right way, and you bounce just the right way, that there's this, like, kind of ebb and flow you need to... Like, that's why I said ride out earlier. Yeah. Because it's not just, like, hit... Like, it's not a button mash. You can't button mash through these.
No, it's not like you hit them enough and then you stun them or something, and then you just wail them until they die. Like, it is clean. Everything is working as it should. The graphics style is amazing. Everyone talks about the graphics. There are some levels in there that, like, I got into them for the first time and I just stopped playing because I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is amazing. There's a big lake in one of the areas, and I walked in, it was just flowers and a lake, and in 2D. Like, this is not a 3D game
it's not.
either. It is 2D, and it has, like, this depth behind it.
Yeah, so you've got, like, the parallax scrolling that you'd have in, like, some of the older, like, Super Nintendo games. So you have the foreground in focus, quite sharp focus, and then the background is sort of nicely blurred out.
Yeah. But you can still see things in the background which you can, interpret, or, like, different forest styles. You come back later in the game when you've done certain things and the world has changed.
Because it's a Metroidvania, you need to.
Yeah, you need to, and you need to take notice of that stuff, because you're like, oh, I need to notice that this has happened. Obviously, like, I'm trying not to, spoil it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's very... I don't want to say it's like Dark Souls, but it is kind of like the platformer Dark Souls. It's... Yeah, all of the features of it, but it's done so well. In the music, the graphics, the gameplay is also crisp and clean, and it was made by such a small team.
Three core developers, yeah.
Three developers. I was like, it's amazing.
I will ask, because it's something that I haven't really come across, boss fights.
Yeah.
Already concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Really concerned.
Yeah.
Talk to me about boss fights.
So boss fights are something that will just... They'll only be happening in certain areas.
Right.
But you walk into the room, and then, the doors close down behind you, and you're like, oh no.
Oh no.
There's something coming, and then something will jump down, and you'll fight it, most of the time. Sometimes you can see the boss beforehand, but they ramp up in difficulty
really fast
as you go through. Some of them are easier than others based on the build that you go. If you go heavily into spells, you may be able to beat the melee bosses a lot easier, because you basically just kite back and forth, jump over them and things like that.
I probably should ask as well as go on about bosses. So you need to sort of spec certain ways to be able to take down certain enemies, right?
Yeah, but the specking is kind of on the fly as well,
right?
Because there's different stones that you can equip while you're at resting points.
Okay.
So you can do ones that give you extra health, but they give you no spell slots. Like, no mana, basically. Or soul.
So it's like trading off, yeah.
Yeah, or they'll give you an extra regenerative health bar that regens slowly over time. If you've just been hit, it'll give you like a... if you don't get hit again, it'll regen. Yeah, exactly. So there's I think it's like 30 or something different ones, and you can customize... You've got a bunch of skill points that you get as through the game, and you can build them. So you'll go to one boss fight, and he's very mobile, and he's very spell heavy. So you want to, like...
Maybe spec towards
that stuff, or you want to get in quickly, just stuff like that. But yeah, it is. The bosses have, let's say, 100 hits on your nail on your sword to kill, and you have potentially 5. Getting later and later into the game, some of the people can hit you for 2 damage, so you can literally hit you for 40% of your health in one hit.
Gone, yeah.
And there are 2-phase boss fights. There's 3-phase boss fights. There is. And it comes down to
I guess that's why you went straight to, like, Dark Souls, right? You were like, so it gets really tough.
It gets really tough. And, like, I was fighting the last boss. I think I dedicated the last 4 hours, the last whole...
4 hours?
4 hours, one whole, like, stream, basically, to killing the last boss. And, like, eventually, like... And, again, in that platform, I'm not sitting down in my chair, and, maybe I could have finished it better, but this, like, emotion that you had when, like, you finally beat that boss, or you finally finish a boss that, like... You've been versing for an hour, just dead. Run back to from your last resting point. You lose your soul. Kind of again, like
Dark Souls. Yeah.
You go fight the ghost kind of thing that you go back to, and then you're in the boss room again, and you fight the boss, and then you die again, and then you have to run all the way back. You know, you do that for 2 hours. It affects your sanity. Let's just say.
Apart from the bosses as well, like we mentioned the big open world as well. Is exploration a big focus, or is it not so much?
I'd say it is a big focus, but at the same time, it's kind of restricted at certain points.
Because you need abilities.
You need certain abilities. So, like, there's a giant wall in this section. You know there's an extra level section of the game there, but it is not accessible because you don't have the double jump yet. So you have to go back.
Typical Metroidvania stuff.
Exactly. Can't pass the red door until you have the red key, and certain ways of doing it like that. But I guess a negative of the game, if you aren't paying attention, it really can mess with you.
Yep.
Because you just get lost. And there are stones that you can equip that tell you where you are on the map. They can tell you where bosses are different. There's maps that you can collect and things like that. But when you first get into an area, you have no knowledge.
Yeah.
You don't just get the map laid out for you as you explore. You have to collect the map or buy the map for the area. Otherwise, you're lost. So you're playing it the first time, and I think this is where a lot of my extra playtime came in, is I just kept getting lost.
Yeah.
I'm like in a new area and I don't know where I am, and I've been through, because it's 2D, you can't make too many references of where the locations are. So you get lost, you go back, you're like, I'm just going to try a different area. But that may be the only way that you can go right now, because you've beaten everything else, and it gives you the abilities to go to this new area.
So it seems like it can kind of get frustrating like that sometimes.
Yeah. So I had a lot of like kind of backseat gaming help.
On stream. On
stream, which I was very welcome for. But it can be, if you're playing by yourself, you may want to have to look up a guide at a certain point. Like, you get down to the depths and it gets, spooky and stuff like that, where there's these caterpillar monsters.
Having that backseat gaming, like having a spectator, like there are some games that I really enjoy, not necessarily having an audience for, but if you're hanging out, like, I don't know, like on a Friday or a Saturday night, because my life's thrilling, right? Like,
just sitting around the fire playing Hollow Knight.
Around the fire.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we're not quite that old-fashioned, but
not yet.
Like, I've had times where, like I'm playing through Zelda or something at home, and my mate will be like, so you have like spiky fruit, right? And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh my god. Oh my god. Like, having that backseat gaming, as much as we can say it can be frustrating sometimes, in this situation it seems like it'd help a lot.
It helped. It did help a lot.
Just have a second set of eyes,
pretty much. Or like, to people who have played the game before, or they watch speedrunners play it, because I was playing it so late into the game.
Yeah, true.
It was actually a really, really good help, because I had no idea what I was doing. It was a blind playthrough, and then these guys came in like, oh yeah, I'm at 112% of the game being finished. I'm like, sorry,
excuse me, 112?
It goes higher than 100, and like, you do all these extra modes and these extra levels and these extra bosses and DLC and blah blah blah. And I was like,
speedrunners, dude.
Yeah, they're amazing. But all of that stuff, they just helped me with it. And it was really, really good, because I could have that, as you said, that second set of eyes, or that prior team of knowledge almost in the background to help me finish it. I don't think it took away from the game at all. They didn't tell me specifics. They just said, I got stuck, and I'm like, hey guys.
It's not like I've played the game already and I'm going to tell you how to play the game. Like, it doesn't feel
left,
like that.
Up, right, one, jump
yeah, it's not like
that.
that.
Yeah, no, it was very, very, very broad, which was really, really good. So
you reckon, even though it has been out for quite a while now, it's worth picking up?
If you have not played it, oh my god, please play it. Even if you're not good, again, you have to be kind of skilled at that point, because you need to learn timings,
or at least have the patience to try and deal with some of the rougher parts when you just die and die. Because I mean, it's not an easy game.
No, that's it. Like, you don't need to be skilled. It's not an easy game. It's easy to learn, to pick up. The 3 buttons or the 4 buttons that you're going to have, but putting them all together, especially when you get to a difficult boss fight, it can be one of those things where I'm not playing this game anymore because it is too difficult.
I mean, that's 2D platformers in general, right? Like, Ori and the Blind Forest got to that point for me. I love Ori and the Blind Forest, but I feel like in the meantime, if you enjoyed sort of games like that, just 2D games that you can kind of get into, because 2D platformers have kind of thinned out recently.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight, I agree, would be worth going back to.
Yeah, and now it's on Switch as well. So I played it on PC,
it's on everything. Yeah, Jesus.
It's on everything.
Switch, PS4, Xbox, and Steam, and like a bunch of other Windows marketplaces. So, definitely
pick it up. Oh,
Hollow Knight,
it's so good.
That brings us to the end of the show this week. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I don't know what next week's content is going to be, because, I'm not a psychic. I wish I was.
Do you, though?
Yeah, a bit of a double-edged sword, eh?
Yeah, kind of.
Rough. In the meantime, check us out on social media at ZEDGamesAU. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for hanging out. We love and appreciate you. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.